God Almighty, the one who is the Son, who doesn't incarnate, who is all the time there, watching the play of his Father, the primordial Mother, is manifested through her power. It is these three aspects here, clearly, within ourselves and within the primordial being who is the ultimate which all the created people have to reach. Now, there's a difference between the two. The Almighty, God as we call him, the one who never incarnates, and the one who incarnates on this earth and occupies a position like this, just like a human being. And he's called as a primordial being, and you can say Virata, you can call him the Virat. Actually, what we call as primordial being is an aspect of God. So these are two things, if you understand, I will be able to explain to you how the aspects of God are expressed in us. So the first aspect of God is his desire. His desire to create. And in his desire to create. Oh, you were outside there, Linda. I didn't recognize you. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't recognize you. I never recognized you. I'm sorry. I never recognized you. I thought you recognized. Sorry. So, this side will be better. So his desire to manifest, his desire to create, that's the aspect within us, which is represented by the blue color light, which is called as the Adi Ira Nadi, or you can call it the primordial Ira channel by which he desires. Now, as the desire can be born and can be phased off, can be switched off, in the same way, his desire to create also can be over. His desire to create any more may be over. His desire not to create for the time being is there. So if you understand your desires, you can understand his desire also to create. And that's why when he does not desire to have it anymore, the creation he can destroy. So he is the one through which we exist and through which we are destroyed too. So he is the one who manifests existence and destruction of creation. Therefore is called as destroyer. This aspect is represented by the principle of Shiva, which never incarnates, because this principle is the one which is the germ, which is the beginning and which is the end of everything. Like a seed becomes the seed ultimately, in the same way, this Shiva Tattva, the principle of Shiva, germinates, creates, and then it again becomes the same principle. That's why the principle of Shiva never changes. It is called as Shiva means it is permanent, it is eternal. The rest of them go into manifestation. So first he desired and he wanted to create, so he had to have his aspect of creator being again. And the second aspect of creation is this yellow line that shows here is the Pingala Nadi, called as Adi Pingala, the primordial Pingala channel by which he has created this universe. Now the center of this figure, you can find this green round circle, and this one is the one with the space in which he created. He created in this space, and that's why this space is called as Bhavasagara. It's a portion of creation. Bhava is the one that is created. Bhava means the one. Exactly, it is the one that is done. Bhava is done, means created. So, the creator then produces all the stars and all the galaxies, solar plexus, lunar plexus, all the so-called mandalas. He does all that work. But as you would say, that first of all, this blue line, if you follow it up, goes absolutely to the first center. Yes. Now this line represents, though it manifests the Shiva principle, it is manifested, or you can say carried on through the power of Shiva, that is known as Mahakali. That's the power of Mahakali. It descends up to the lowest point there, which is the first center that is created by Mahakali herself. And this center is called as the Muladhara Chakra. On this she has created, first of all, the first deity, we can call the Aradhya Devata, the one deity which is to be worshipped first in this whole world is the deity that is the embodiment of innocence. So innocence was the first thing that was created by God and not cunningness. Cunningness is our byproduct. He created innocence and holiness, and that's how he put the deity there, and that deity is called as Sri Ganesha. It is, later on you will know that the same embodiment of innocence incarnated on this earth as Jesus Christ. Now this is a very, very important chakra or the center, about which I will tell you later on. But then after creating this, see, God is a very, I should say, a very, very compassionate and affectionate being. He is the source of all our compassion and affection because he resides in the heart, the Shiva there, you can see it placed there. And then he wanted to produce somebody who would, after creating this, first he created the chakra for the innocence. That was the most primal important thing, was to create innocence on this earth, to protect people. Innocence is auspiciousness. It's called as Mangalakari. It's the one that gives the auspiciousness. Now, about auspiciousness also, they have had a taste with them. You can ask them what it gives. And it is a thing that was first created, means that for us the blessings were created even before he started creating these galaxies. So he created a place in the space from where he could emit his blessings on this earth. So secondly, then before even creating the creator, he just thought, let me put him up, let me have another aspect manifested, which is the center part, from the center part, which is known as the Sushumna, is the center part of sustenance of your dharma. Before creating anything else, he created this one because this is the center of seeking. It's the center of seeking. And this seeking was created even from the smallest of animals, you know. When amoeba was created, he had a seeking, otherwise he would never have evolved. And of course the seeking changed its mode and its tone, but there was a seeking first implanted at that point, and for that he had to create a deity of his aspect. His power is Mahalakshmi, which is that channel, is the center power. Now the third one that he created out of it, actually, from here, what he did first of all, from here, he goes. It's like so you have got three powers of Kali, Saraswati, and Mahalakshmi. Kali, Saraswati, and Mahalakshmi. This universe then was created through galaxies and solar systems. And if you happen to read one of the so-called article of mine on solar plexus, on the creation itself, you will know how we were created very carefully. How the earth was created, how it was taken away, part of it was taken away from the sun, taken very far away first, and then adjusted, brought to a point where life could live. All that was done, and so the earth was created. Now the first chakra, as I told you, is the Ganesha chakra. Now this chakra is most important for us because this is the center of Sri Ganesh, who is the son of Mahakali's residual power, which we can call as the Gaudi. It is that you can see in the center is also called as the Kundalini. After creating the whole thing, desiring the whole thing, he put part of that, that's why we call it residual power, into that Kundalini, the Adi Kundalini, which would record all that is happening within. And later on, when the time comes, it would give you your second one. So this is the Kundalini here. It is placed in 3.5 coils. Because 3.5 coils brings forth eternal movement, like your watches which are, say, automatic, also have got 3.5 coils, just to put it in automatic way. That's how this idea must have come to somebody that we should put 3.5 coils to have automatic watches. So this is a 3.5 coil there placed. And that's the mother. That's the mother, that's the virgin, that's the one sitting down there. Now this is the mother who had not yet met her husband, but was married, but still a virgin. And a story is very interesting how she created Ganesh. She was worried that somebody may come inside the bathroom. So she, out of her body, the things, what you call the mala, the dirt on her body, she took out some soil or clay that we use in India for washing the hands. And our clay is very good. And she put all the clay and took it out and made out of that a Ganesh and put him down there at that point because she wanted somebody to protect her. Somebody has come. If you lock the door, how about that? It's all right. So this protection was created there for her, but actually that's the one is also protecting her protocol. That means this chakra, nobody can enter into, nobody can touch it. Through this center, anybody who tries to come in will be punished. Now those people who say that Kundalini can be risen through sex are, I must say, either sadly mistaken or are sinister. Because that's the center is to protect her protocol. She never would allow anybody to enter through that point because that is the point which regulates and controls the sex. So that is a very, very holy place through which you cannot enter. The reason is, say if there is mud and if there is all kind of filth, best thing is to put there the most purest form of deity who never gets embellished or who does not get hurt or in any way involved into that filth. So he being the purest, he was placed there. Like Christ came on this earth to a place like, horrible place like Bethlehem and all these, just because there was no other way out. See, he was the only one who could come there and sustain these people who wanted to crucify him later on. So he came down later, but this embodiment of innocence was put there. Innocence is a thing which never is cunning and intelligent as you think intelligence is supposed to be. It's a very different type of intelligence it has got. But it just works out. You may be any amount of intelligence you may have, and you may try to trick the innocence by any chances or by any sort of fraudulent ways. You cannot cheat. Innocence is above all that. And that is what was very important, and that's why he was placed there. Now, the people who have been practicing this kind of a nonsensical stuff like going to Kundalini through the sex are really doing a very abusive and horrible thing to their own mother, who is the Kundalini. Kundalini is your mother. She has been with you for ages and she has been waiting for this day when you could get your realization. So those who try such tricks on the Kundalini, on their mother, you can imagine how much they should be punished. That's why so many people get all these horrible experiences of getting blisters in the body, they get heat in the body, sometimes they get temperature and they get stuck up and all sorts of things happen because of this kind of unauthorized behavior. Another thing could be to freeze this Ganesha is to become a person who is absolutely running away from sex. One does not have to run away from sex because sex is one of the activities of Ganesha because he's a child. He doesn't understand what a sex is. He's abodh. He is innocent. He doesn't know that sex is something. He has no consciousness of it. Like a child, when he sees sex, for him it is just like seeing flowers or nothing. He doesn't understand it. After a certain age only, people start understanding it. So those people who also run away from sex are equally the same because there's nothing to run away and there's nothing to run to. It has to be understood at this point that sex has to be a very sacred and a secret thing between two personalities, that is husband and wife, who should be really married collectively. Marriage, which is done secretly somewhere and marriage secretly done somewhere, it always brings problems. So marriage must be done in an open way and should be sanctioned collectively. Marriage is not an institution came to human beings from somewhere outside, but it has come to them from within. God himself has brought this institution within them, and it is to be respected in full way. And family life is the basis, absolutely the basis of human beings. Every human being must have a nest to grow when they are children. We are playing havoc with this principle of family life everywhere, and we are really out to ruin our children through abandoning the norms that are required for a human life. I mean, we've taken up everything into our hands, as if we can do whatever we feel. Perhaps by that we do not realize how we are giving no fair chance to our children to grow in a proper, secure place. So family life is a very important thing and must be dealt with in a way, the way you do a puja, you do a worship. The home is a temple where you must have all the holy things to give children the holiness, the innocence that is required for them to continue. Here if you find now the children are so precocious, sometimes you're shocked the way they're precocious because the parents talk all these things in their minds and they say, what's wrong? Like you are teaching children about sex. What is there to teach? I really can't understand. What is there to teach? Every dog, all these birds, everybody, they know what is sex. Now human beings need a teaching out of it. I mean, Indians who are supposed to be most uneducated people, they are doing much better than all of you are doing here. It makes me to understand how your people start thinking about teaching everything, even sex. It is, of course, to be guided properly through family. Sometimes you're shocked the way they're precocious because the parents talk all these things in their minds and they say, what's wrong? Like you are teaching children about sex. What is there to teach? I really can't understand. What is there to teach? Every dog, all these birds, everybody, they know what is sex. Now human beings need a teaching out of it. I mean, Indians who are supposed to be most uneducated people, they are doing much better than all of you are doing here. It makes me to understand how your people start thinking about teaching everything, even sex. It is, of course, to be guided properly through family channels, but not to be talked so openly, In the beginning, the whole thing is so filled with it, let me talk about it. Because it is not to be talked, it is not to be mentioned. It's a very sacred thing between husband and wife and to be kept as sacred. But if you excite it too much from the childhood, you give ideas and all that. You see, unnaturally, people are brought up in that way into a very unnatural atmosphere, and you become nothing but a sex pot. So the amount of, you see, importance is given to sex life, you see, as if they're important. I mean, it is something like that. It amounts to that. The way people are, it's such a natural thing, it's such a spontaneous thing, it's available to everyone. What is there for people to think so much about it and plan about it, talk about it, and make the whole thing so vulgar? There are certain rules and regulations that are to be followed. I mean, you have to be very, very chaste about it. And there's a certain protocol and certain beauty of making it a secret. The more I find now here, people, I'm just talking about the West because we are concerned with Western problems. Indians have another type, which I will tell you later. They have another horrible types of problems, but this is